Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of MDC in the Haitian community. My name is James Pierre. Joining us today is a veteran in the college preparation industry, and she also the founder and the president of CRAMS Consulting. I'm talking, of course, about Marlyn Paris-Lawson. How are you doing today?
Good morning, James. I'm good. How are you?
It is truly an honor having you. I know you are very involved in the Haitian community. So many activities you are doing, like we do with all our guests. Let's start first with your childhood. You were born in the Bahamas before you migrated in the United States. Tell me more about that.
We migrated here when I was 12 years old. I suppose my parents saw the need to create a better life for us, although we lived a very middle class, upper middle class life in Freeport, Bahamas. And traveling back and forth, my parents thought that it would be best for us to come here. And looking back now, although I was really, really upset at the time when the move took place, but looking back now, I realize that that's the best decision that they could have made for us, because opportunities were quite limited then. We didn't know it as children, but as adults, I can see why.
You are from Haitian parents' descent.
Yes, yes.
We know that also there's a different way, the living there from Haitians in Haiti and also in Bahamas. Tell me a bit about the differences.
Well, the difference of life for Haitians in the Bahamas is so much different from here. Although I did not grow up there and I wasn't subjected to the disparity that the current Haitians are living under, when I go back, I see there are no opportunities for Haitians in the Bahamas, and I can see why so many of them sacrifice their lives in an attempt to get here, because this is definitely the land of opportunities.
Absolutely. You've been to Haiti as well. How is Haiti to you?
Well, I haven't been as an adult, so I really couldn't tell you. I would not be honest if I were to tell you that, if I were to even give you an overview of what life is like. I can only share what I've heard from my friends and also from what I have seen. But it's probably, based on what I have been told, life is more and more challenging than ever before. Although life is better now than it was in the last, I would say, 20 years, there is still a major gap, and which is why so many Haitians are sacrificing their lives and trying to get here.
Sure. So you migrated here in the United States at a very young age.
12 years old.
12 years old. So how was the first days for you? How were they? So could you recall any moment from your first days?
I remember before we left, the only thing my parents told us was that just like the week we were leaving, that we're moving to Miami, and just because we're going there, things won't be the same. You will adhere to the same standards, and you're not going there to adopt any new, you will be living in a new culture, but you will not subscribe to any of the vices. So therefore, whatever applies here will apply there once we move. And I was fortunate, unlike most kids my age at the time, I was very fortunate that my parents were able to place us in private school, and whereby the exposure that we had allowed us to continue in the same, in not the same lifestyle, but the same processes that we were living under in the Bahamas. Of course, we went through our own struggles, because my mom was a homemaker back then, because my dad was a very good provider. When we moved here, it took two income in order for us to get by, literally get by.
Wow, wow. How was the interaction with between you and the other students, and also you have other ethnicities inside of a melting pot world?
Yeah.
So how was it for you?
Well, it wasn't as challenging as it was for my counterparts, only because I went to a Catholic middle school and high school. And while there, I remembered, although I had a Bahamian accent, which was super, super thick, and while they made comments about it, I don't recall being a target, or I don't recall ever being bullied. After a while, and I think it had to do with the climate and the culture of the school. I thank God for that opportunity, because I was allowed to acclimate to the American culture and the new lifestyle at my own pace without being forced to pretend to be somebody I wasn't.
Yeah. Saving your identity is very important, but on the educational side, so you have a bachelor's degree from Florida State University in psychology, you have a master's degree from Barry University. What kept you motivated to keep on going?
Well, I think the expectation that my parents set for us very early on, that was key. And then the other thing is, while I was raised in a two-parent home, my father set such high standards, and also every time I look into his eyes, I saw within his eyes, I saw a mirror. And within that mirror, in that mirror, I saw the person that I could be. And that, as profound as it is the truth, because my father was always encouraging. My father always created an environment where he led you to believe that you can be anything that you want to be. I remembered when I transitioned to high school, to a Catholic high school, and I remembered in the 10th grade, it was a predominantly white school, and there were a handful of us, and the handful, there were a few of us were Haitians. And I remembered I had the bug to run for student council. And I remember sharing that with my colleagues at the time, and they were like, "Oh no, nobody's gonna vote for you. You see how it is here." Yeah. And while I thought about that, because I think that was the first time I felt limited, and so I went home and I shared that with my dad. I said, "Dad, I'm gonna run for student council for vice president." He says, "Honey, you could be the next president of the United States if you want to." Wow. And that was so profound. And at the time, I didn't even think that, I didn't even know, or maybe I wasn't even aware that you had to be an American, natural born citizen in order to be a United States president. But that goes to the extent of the empowerment, the level of empowerment that my father placed within me, to make me believe that I could be anything, including the president of the United States. Wow. And then, and that's, believe it or not, that's all I needed to hear, because I did go for it, and I went up against the second most popular girl at the high school, and super wealthy girl who had access to everything, and I remembered standing there before my class, and I delivered the most amazing, empowering speech, and the whole time I kept seeing my father's face towards the back of the room. He wasn't there, but that's what I felt, and I got a standing ovation. And then from there, I joined every club, and I think that was the confirmation for me that the sky's the limit, and that's how I have lived. I am the proud mother of 2 daughters, and that's the type of parenting that's the parenting style that I subscribe to.
Obviously, the support system is very important, especially at home, where you have your parents to help you moving on. We got to take a quick break, but I wanted to ask you why your colleagues at that time thought that it wouldn't be ideal for you to run. Is it because it was more white in the classroom?
It was more white, and then we were the minority, and I think living with limitations, and for the most part, I don't think many of them came from the home life that I came from, whereby there is a parent. I'm just saying this not knowing, of course, but I think it was that we haven't done it, so therefore you shouldn't try because you won't get it. But believe it or not, they turned out to be my biggest supporters once I made the decision to go for it, felt the fear and did it anyway. They campaigned for me, and they were just, they had my back.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. Our guest today is someone who breaks fears, who breaks barriers from a very young age, Marlyn Paris-Lawson. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, much more to know about her.
Be creative. Be a hero. Be the solution. Be connected. Be innovative. Be global. Be successful. Be you. Be MDC. Be Miami-Dade College.
Welcome back to MDC in the Haitian community. I'm James Pierre. Wonderful conversation with Miss Lawson, as we know her in the Haitian community. Mentor, trainer, you're doing it all in the Haitian community. So now, before the break, we were talking about your childhood. You studied here at,
12.
in Miami, and then moving on. You also joined Miami-Dade College. Tell me about your experience here.
Actually, I came from corporate America, and that the story of that is so super interesting. I know what education has done for me, and I know what a strong foundation can do for a child. I remembered while getting dressed to go on a flight to Cleveland, I was listening to a program, and there was an incident that happened in one of the schools, and I used to be one of the biggest critique of the school system, of the public school system, and
Why?
being a product of private school, and things were simpler, and we were able to learn at our own pace, and we weren't the stress wasn't there, or still is not there, because my children are now in private school. The stress that my public school students are experiencing almost is non-existent for my children. And I remembered one day I was at the top of my game, holding the career of my life, and then I remembered there was something that came on, and as I was getting dressed, I heard it, and I was about to speak something negative. And that little voice inside of me just pulled my tongue and said, why don't you do something about it? So instead of saying it, it just caught me, and I felt awakened. And then as I got on the plane, I kept thinking about that moment, and I thought, wow. And they say in order for something to happen, something
to happen.
Yeah. So, and at that time I was traveling a lot, and which I went from being a hands-on mom to being the mom that read a story over the phone because I was traveling for my job. And then I remembered my younger of the two. I have twin girls. The younger, I mean the one that's born a minute later, that was born a minute later. She was very attached to me. And then she started showing signs of regression. And then as I caught on that early, I realized that it was because she went from having mommy around all the time to having limited time with mommy. So I gave up my ideal job and decided to volunteer at their school for 3 months while I tried to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I got a call from the dean, the newly appointed dean of the Parent Academy, who invited me to come and learn more about what she did, because at that time I had started a PTA at my children's school, and I was president of the PTA. And every year I was asked to speak at at the parent orientation, and she was there as a new parent, and she just was she was taken by what the content of my speech, and so she invited me to come and work with her, and I did. So I started out as a parent educator for Miami-Dade County Public School under the umbrella of the Parent Academy. And then from there, and I loved it. Why? Because I feel that everything, and as I shared my story with you early on, I feel that everything good comes from the home. Everything, mostly bad things about a child, comes from the home.
Will your experience at public schools now change your perspective on how you used to think about public schools?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, for one, I had the privilege of empowering parents, educating parents on how to be more effective. And what I learned early on in that process is that we all assume that parents know or should know about how to be more engaging or how to take a proactive role in their children's education. What I learned from that was that's not the case. Many parents have never set foot on many schools are not parent friendly, and parents avoided going to the schools. And more often than none, you will find parents at the schools during a teacher-parent conference when the child does something wrong. And for the most part, we in the Haitian community, I learned that they subscribe to the Haitian concept where once we send you to school, you're the school's responsibility. That is not the case here. There has to be a team approach in empowering and engaging children, and you will find that kids do better in school when parents are engaged and involved.
You are very tough about students in public schools. You joined as a trainer, motivator. So what did you share at that time with parents, Haitian parents, when you first started as a model and say, hey, you know what? I came from a different world. No, I want to join. This is how it works. What did you share with them?
Well, I believe in storytelling, and the best way I have learned that this has been a gift, and also through my training, I've learned to perfect the art of telling stories. And what I did was not scold the parents for not doing what I thought they needed to do, but I shared stories of my own personal stories, either from my upbringing or from my own active parenting skills. And I found them to be very embracing. And I think in order to really invite parents to the table, there needs to be an approach of a non-judgmental approach, but hey, let's do this together. We're a team and we have one common goal, and that is to see your child succeed.
Absolutely. We have much more to know about Marlyn Paris-Lawson, especially stories from students in the middle class here in Miami. You're watching MDC in the Haitian community. I'm James Pierre. Stay with us.
Be creative. Be a hero. Be the solution. Be connected. Be innovative. Be global. Be successful. Be you. Be MDC. Be Miami-Dade College.
Welcome back to MDC in the Haitian community. I'm your host, James Pierre. And of course, we are talking with Marlyn Paris-Lawson. I wanted to make sure that I mentioned some of the proclamations that you received from several organizations, national and international, here. First of all, you have Bank of America named you Neighborhood Excellence Emerging Leader, which is a very good award. But I wanted to focus on that one, the City of North Miami proclamation that you received, because you have more than 100 students to go to college with full scholarship. Tell me more about that.
Over the course of 8 years, I had the privilege of working with students from 96 schools in Miami-Dade County Public Schools. And when I started a program, when I started working for a program called Take Stock in Children, which is housed at Miami-Dade College, Wolfson campus, I found that there was a gap between the kids that there weren't enough Haitian kids, although there were many with that were eligible for the program, but there was not an advocate there to recruit them. And so I became a voice for those students, and I started doing some heavily recruiting. And in any special projects or any type of service, the school community tends to be very, very closed, and once you get in, and once you get buy-in from administration, then the sky's the limit for those kids. And I was privileged to establish relationships with key stakeholders in the communities, including Miami-Edison, as well as North Miami Middle and Senior High School, which allowed the recruitment process to go very smoothly. As a result, we were able to recruit and provide full college tuition scholarships under Take Stock in Children to 150 plus students. And those are students that are attending college right now in many different colleges throughout the country. And for the most part, a lot of these kids, prior to working with me, they would not have had an opportunity to even leave Miami-Dade County, let alone going to colleges of their choice.
Wow. You are also the founder and president of CRAMS Consulting LLC. What does that consist of? What do you do?
Okay, CRAMS is an acronym for College Readiness, Access, and Motivational Services. Upon leaving Take Stock in Children as the director of the Upward Bound program, I prior to leaving, I felt a need to be out there and create what I thought was my ideal program. And I was fortunate enough to have had the training ground through Take Stock in Children to really test out some concepts that I felt were needed in the college readiness and college access service delivery process. And as a result of that, I was able to develop CRAMS Consulting. And CRAMS Consulting is a pre-college service, enrichment service, that operates a summer institute, a 7-week intensive summer institute, whereby we focus heavily on skills building. But the key of what I do is I prepare kids for college from the inside and out. By that I mean, when a child knows, my objective is to help kids answer 3 major questions. And those are, who am I? Where am I going? How will I get there?
And you work with kids as low as 7 years old all the way up.
Initially, when I started, I started providing services to kids from grade 6 through college. My services include high school transition, college readiness, college access, college transition, and college retention. High school transition for grades 6 through 8, high school college readiness from grade 9 and 10, and college access grades 11 and 12, college transition for 12th graders, and college retention for those kids that are in college that have no idea what to do with their lives or what to study. My goal is to help these kids identify who they are so that they can take a more proactive role in their education. Right now, many kids are very passive, and we tend to lose them because they're not as aware as they need to be. And the other thing is that once they get to college, prior to leaving the bubble, I call it. And the bubble is school where we tell them when to do their homework, when to do whatever. But once they leave the bubble, they get to college, they get in that what now mode. And
obviously, being successful is not only for the student part. You also have the parents, the supporting system that you're talking about. So, what are the beside language? What are the major issues that parents, Haitian parents, are dealing with inside of the Haitian community, and how they should tackle these issues?
Well, I believe that the lack of awareness, not knowing how to navigate through the system, through the educational system, or even social services system, and I believe that we are, as a community, we're much too passive, and it is in our culture to be so. But I think in order for kids to get to where they need to be, we need to be more proactive. We need to take an active role. We need to ask questions. We need to seek advocates. We need to identify those people who speak for us. And at this point, a language barrier should not be as major of an issue as it was for my parents when they came here, because wherever you go, there is someone speaking speaking Creole or speaking French or speaking a language in which you can identify with. For example, when I came here, there was no James Pierre on television, but now here you are. So those kids that are watching can identify with you, and parents can also identify, hey, if I have any questions, I know who to call. And I take pride in being the voice for my people in my community.
And you are a true leader in the Haitian community and also other communities, the African American,
Hispanic
as a whole.
Communities. I stand for all who want to succeed in life.
I cannot end that interview before saying congratulations on your position now at the NAHP. Quickly tell me what you'll be doing with the organization.
Wow. After the conference, the national conference, which was held here at FIU in South Florida, I was tapped to create a college readiness and college access program for the National Alliance for the National Alliance for the Advancement of Haitian Professionals. And we've named this new baby that we're in the process of giving birth to CRARI. CRARI stands for College Readiness Access Retention Institute.
So more resources instead of the Haitian community to help
so
our community
many more
to be better.
resources, because we need to empower and groom the future leaders. I recently learned of the passing of a great community leader, Carmelo Monestim, who's the father of two of my colleagues and friends. And I'm realizing that we're aging, and we need to make sure that we prepare those to whom we're going to pass the baton so that they can be ready and not wait for us to pass on and then we look back and say, well, who's next? No, we need to invest. We need to engage. We need to mentor these kids so that way they can understand the legacy that is being placed upon their hands. So I plan to as the National Executive Director for NAHP, I plan to pilot a program here at Miami Edison Senior High School this summer through the creation of a summer institute. And then from there, we're going to branch out to five states. And then who knows where this will lead us.
Best of luck. I know that's going to be huge, and I can't wait to have you back, Marlyn Paris-Lawson, here at MDC in the Haitian community. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
Well, and thank you to you as well for watching MDC in the Haitian community. My name is James Pierre. We'll see you next time.